Right, so the video you're about to watch is actually about 3 weeks behind where we are today. And the reason behind that is once this client took his car, 2 or 3 days later, I got a very lengthy WhatsApp message with a list of issues on the PPF. And it was actually everything I'd done on this car was wrong, every single thing. And truthfully, the message took quite a bit to read. It was that long, and I had to read it 2 or 3 times, and I really couldn't get my head around it. And it caused me to not sleep for a few nights. My head were a mess, and I constantly questioned, should I be doing this job? Now, the short story is 26, 27 years I've been doing this. I believe I'm one of the most passionate in the trade, and I have to do everything to a perfect level, and if I can't, it affects me and I can't deal with it. And sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, come into work, and I'll just get on with it and do it because I can't sleep that something isn't right, or there may be an alternative way of fixing something, or trying to change something or improve something on the car. And that's the way I've always been. But this client wasn't happy. But how the story goes is the client came in for a PPF quote, spent about an hour going through things with him, knew he was quite particular. We have a lot of particular customers. I've got clients who come to me on a daily basis, message me weekly, come to me for weeks in advance on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis, to have the car checked over before we even book it in, and do the same after it's gone. They'll come in every week just questioning things, asking things, and I've had those clients for 15, 20 years. It doesn't bother me. I think that's who I am and why people come to me, because they know I'll fix things. They know that, and even some of these clients apologise for being so hard work. Sometimes their words doesn't bother me. You know what? That's what I'm here for, guys, and I always have been. Truthfully, this customer, I've said to him, I don't think I can help you, and I don't think I'm the right business to be able to do everything you want to, whatever your standard you want or expect, because I don't honestly believe I can make you happy, whatever it is. And that's the truth. And the reason for it, the client came in, we did a massive inspection of the car and quoted, and I went through PPF, how it works, what you should expect, what you shouldn't expect, all the things we do every single time I work with a client. I do it to everyone. He booked in, and then came in a few weeks later after a few messages to and fro, questioning things on his car before we booked in by any chance, where he found lack appeal, he found damages to the car, he found issues. And I spent probably 45 minutes to an hour going through those things, trying to find painters, trying to find resolutions for him before we worked on the car, just to get the best results for it. And then what we ended up doing is I took a punt and decided I was going to wet sand things like the door, which you'll see on the video that's coming up. And I'll take the risk of trying to perfect this instead of him having to have the car repainted, because he was concerned the colour wouldn't match. It would be a full repaint on the side, nothing would blend. I could tell it was stressing him out. I could also tell that the car's issues he hadn't noticed really concerned him. I even said, why don't you ring the guy you've bought it off, because I'm here to help you, and I'll explain that they are there. They're not new issues. They've been there a while. Nobody could have not known about them. And he did, and the guy didn't want to know anything about it. And the customer said to me, I just don't want any drama. I don't like causing issues. I don't want to cause a conflict. Can we just find a way of fixing it? And that's what I did. And I think that's what's hit me hard on this particular job. I think this is the reason why this has really affected me over the last few weeks, because I feel this list of issues the client's got, for someone who doesn't want to cause conflict or issue or argument or cause a problem, it's kind of a personal attack, because I've done everything to get this car to be perfect, like I would with anybody's car, and I think that's what's bothered me. So after some lengthy discussions, the client wanted basically the roof redoing, the bumper redoing, the mirrors redoing, other things. He came in for a 2-week checkup. We looked over the car and truthfully found nothing. I found nothing. Standard things that you would do on a checkup, if you want me to be honest. However, he sent me videos of the mirrors making wind noise, which I've never heard of in my life, but it's not for me to question because he said it's never done it before. Now, this is an M car. I've had a lot of M cars. We've got an M car at the minute. They all make wind noise from the mirrors, but apparently this is excessive. I heard the video. Yes, there's wind noise, but it sounds like every other mirror to me. But I'm not here to question that. I said I'd redo the mirrors, and I've done them in a different way, and I've tried to overlap them instead of having the join perfect. I've tried to overlap it, so if it is wind noise, it will drag over instead of causing air in there. That's me trying to work out physics. It's probably not right, but that's the only option I can think. I've said I won't do the roof, because it doesn't need doing. It's perfectly fine. I've done mine at the same time, it's perfect. I'd said I wouldn't do the bumper because it's fine. It's a template. It didn't line up here perfect, as in it didn't go under the headlight, but it was neat, and both sides were exactly the same, symmetrical. I ended up saying I'd redo the bumper. At my cost, pretty much a day's work to take it off, redo it, 300 quid in film, massive hit to the business. Probably every penny on this job that we made has probably diminished from that. And I've also done a lot of work for free on that, as you'll see in this video coming. So then we booked the car in, and I said I'd redo all these things. When the car got dropped off, ironically, 2 PPF suppliers came to see me, different times, not together, didn't know about them coming in, and they've asked me to test film for them. And that's because they've seen the videos of us doing a lot of testing on PPF by probably 15 companies now, and they wanted us to do the same, and they wanted to put my experience through with their film to get some real life results and opinions from me. Now, one of those companies that came with their installer who's been in the business for 15-20 years, and he'll be way better than me. He's been doing it a long time. He's their main guy. And I asked both of these companies while they were here, just inspect this car, tell me what I've cocked up on, because truthfully I don't think I should be testing your film with the list of issues I've got on this car. Now, I didn't show them the list, I didn't explain to them, I didn't point anything out. I just says, have a look at the car, tell me where I've done wrong. They both came back with nothing, just nothing. One of them commented on the bumper not lining up perfectly here, but he said it's actually just a template, it's not an issue, it's just if you want me to be really picky, that's kind of a thing that the template would have been great if it was slightly larger in this slight corner. He says, but you know what, I can't really tell, and it's only because you've asked me to really go through it with a fine tooth comb. And that made me think, like, that was nice to hear, and I don't really get why this car was such a problem car, or why the customer thinks I've done such a bad job. Anyway, it's been redone. I've redone the bumper completely, I've extended the templates, I've done a lot by hand, I've trimmed everything, I've tucked everything, I've done all the mirrors completely different, and I've really gone to town to just make this customer happy. The reason this video has been delayed is because I didn't want to come across in a negative way. I don't want to come across like I'm having a go at customers. I don't want a customer who watches this who's never used us to think I'm here to kind of pick fault, or I'm hard work, or I don't want to do the job right, because none of that is true. None of that is true. This particular job's affected me. I'm no longer going to be working 16, 17 hours a day. I'm not going to be doing 7 or even 6 days a week. I'm going to be doing my 9 to 5 proper hours, and people will need to wait until we're available to book them in, which means there's going to be delays because I'm not going to be doing those Saturday jobs. I'm not going to be getting 2 jobs done at the same time to get people in, because do you know what? Those who appreciate me, I really appreciate you, and I can't thank all my loyal clients and people who've come back to me for years and understand that I am here to help everyone all the time. But I need to take some time out for me, and I'm 47. I need to get my life back. I miss the gym. I never go anymore. I used to go twice a day. I go once a week. I want to get my life back. I want to drive my M2. I want to drive my Porsche. I want to build these cars that I'm seeing in. I want to get back to what I used to be and enjoy this job and feel passionate about everything I do. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by getting my own time and life back. And I've realised that sometimes working your backside off, like with this car, it's not always worth it. My work's not going to change. I'm not going to change the quality of my work. I'm not going to change how passionate I am with your car and how much I really want to do your car and make it perfect. Nothing's going to change. I'm just going to The things that you don't see in the background, which is me working from 5 till 8, 9 o'clock every night, editing videos after that, and not going to the gym and just working on something else or working weekends, they're the things people don't see or expect. They're the things I'm going to be taking away and moving on. Anyway, watch the video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. There's a lot of work gone into this car, so regardless of everything I've just gone through, there's a lot of work and time gone into this car, and it really has made it a much better car, and it has added a lot of value to the car. And whoever does buy this, if it ever comes for sale, will be getting a hell of a car. There's nothing to criticise on this car after what we've done. So watch the video, guys, enjoy it. Please don't take anything negative on this. Anybody new to watching our channel or watching Inspired, please don't think I'm one of those people that just wants to pick fault and not work on anyone's car. It's not the case. It's really not, and I hope that doesn't come across that way. But as I said, this video affected me a little bit, but we've fixed everything we can. So again, enjoy it. Let's forget that. Let's move on. Follow us for the next videos that are coming out. I've got some seriously cool builds coming up. I've got a couple of cars that we're going to be selling or be able to sell to the younger generation that are going to look insane but be cheap to insure, cheap to tax, and that's the thing we like to do with the budget builds if you've never seen them. And just have a really good week, guys. So this week we're working on an M2 with a lot of CS goodies and a lot of upgrades, such as the carbon front splitter. Now, this was initially in for just a frontal PPF pack, which basically consists of the bumper, the bonnet and the wings. And then what we've decided to do is upgrade a little bit, and the client's going for the mirrors to be done, the A-pillars to be done. We're going to be doing the full side skirt along with the carbon piece on the bottom. And then what you'll see on the video right here is the reason why we're actually doing the doors. Now, there's a defect here and a defect here. The client's bought the car recently. He spoke with a person he bought it off, and they've said that they'd never seen these marks, which is a bit weird. I'm not sure I believe it, because they're quite obvious. This one is more of a stone chip, but this one is where it's had a smart repair and the lacquer has basically peeled. And it's quite obvious. Especially now I've seen it once, it's really obvious. So I think after one wash, you would notice it anyway. Now, what we did is put a test piece of PPF on here and here to see if it would hide it, because PPF does amazing things, and I'm very honest about it. And actually, it pretty much did. But there was a slight area where it was raised here and a slight area where it raised, where the lacquer peel has basically come off. Now, what we agreed to do was wet sand those areas, which is what you'll see now, and then basically fix them and machine them down and then PPF them, which would hide it. And the reason why we've done that is not to bodge anything. It's the fact of this particular colour means painting this door, blowing into the rear and blowing into the top of the wing, and that could possibly mean that the colour doesn't match, and it has freaked the client out a little bit. We have spoke with a couple of painters, and he doesn't want to do it, and I agree with him, because I wouldn't want to do that either, which is why I do what I do for a living, because I don't particularly like fresh paint unless we can really hide it and get rid of any issues. And I'm not convinced you won't know there's a different colour shade. It's also a lot of money to do that. So what we've said is, let me wet sand here and here and then PPF it, which would hide it. And we're not cheating on anything, because we're going to put this in a video, and the client will definitely tell anyone if he ever sells it, but it's actually going to prevent any further marks because we're putting PPF on, so it's actually more beneficial and it's cheaper. Now, what I've done without speaking to the client is I've actually tried to wet sand these and machine them out and bring that lacquer down without you even needing to know. Because if I can make this a flawless finish before we put the PPF on, then the client can actually show that as a video and say this to customers and say, I've actually had this fixed, or there is no issues there, but we've PPF'd it as well. So we're actually double bubbling. We're doing a lot more work. Now, I haven't said that to him because I didn't want to put any false hope or make him think he can do it and then we can't. And I have done it. And I've managed to get this perfectly smooth and this perfectly smooth with no sanding marks, no defects, no look of anything ever happening to that car. And now what we're going to be doing is PPFing over it. So when I speak to the client about what we've done on this particular car, he's going to be over the moon, because we've done a lot more than what we said, and we've basically given him something he didn't even realise we could get. And this is where we are now. So what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be looking at removing the skirt,
we're definitely going to have to try and remove this front splitter because I want to tuck the PPF right underneath here. These bumpers are a pig, I'm not going to lie, because this is one piece. You generally find this is an extra piece unless the template has it on here, but we do have to do these sections in separate pieces without a doubt, and then we actually have to tuck right into here and here. So I've had to take all the plastic trims and rubber trims off because they do get dirt and ingress in them, and it makes it really hard to PPF. So from experience, we remove all the trim on BMW cars, but to get this to be tucked really nice, I'm going to remove this splitter because I want to put the PPF under here just in case this splitter ever comes off and the client doesn't want it, because he's going to have a gap where the PPF is. And it's the same with the skirt. So we're going to basically PPF down here. Now I have templated it to cover this area, and we're going to do the actual side skirt extension in a separate piece, but on this bit I am going to be removing it fully to get the best result. Now if you watch the rest of the video, you're going to see us fitting some film. Could be a little bit boring, so we'll speed it up. So this particular M2 has needed a lot more work than what it originally came in for, and we've just upgraded another part of it. Now this is after speaking to the client on a night. Generally I don't use my phone on a weekend or an evening. However, I was particularly on the work phone, and it's because I was looking for things for this car, which you will see on a YouTube video if you look really closely, or your followers. Now that's the only way you're going to know about this car, because I'm not going to give a lot of information away about it. That's all down to YouTube now. However, this car cosmetically isn't great. Mechanically it's immaculate, amazing, and it just drives so good, but the paintwork is pretty shot. So the front bumper, as you'll see now, we were going to PPF it. I've just PPF'd the wings, I've just PPF'd the bonnet. Truthfully, there's no point in PPFing this front bumper. We've done I don't know, 100 stone chips on it, and as much as I want to just put it on, it's a waste of 400, 500 quid of film. It just isn't worth it. So we're going to cut the film off the template, and I'm going to store it, and I'm going to try and get this bumper painted as soon as I can. The other part of the car that isn't great, the rear quarters, they are pebble dashed and stone rashed to hell, and I've never seen a car this bad with it. And then unfortunately these carbon canards on the side, they're knackered as well, but they're so expensive to replace, I'm just not going to do it for now because this is an alternative weekend car. But going back to that, I was looking for things for this car, and I realised it doesn't have a carbon roof, which is weird because I thought all M2s had a carbon roof, but clearly not. I started then looking at this car, the client's, and this doesn't have a carbon roof either. So what we've basically done is PPF carboned both roofs, and it looks insane. It looks amazing. The finish is really good. When you compare it to the real carbon, in a lot of aspects it really does look the same. Obviously all carbon varies, so like the minis and the canards can look a little bit different anyway, and with it being on the roof, it's not really an issue because it's not obvious that it's slightly different to the actual finish, and it's not touching any other carbon for you to actually try and get a feel against it. But the finish on there, it looks insane, and it just looks like now these two cars have a carbon roof. So that's what we've upgraded on here. Now what I need to do to finish on this client's car is to PPF the headlights, PPF the front splitter, PPF the mirrors, and then PPF a rear bumper section on the bottom, just for protection on that. And what I'm going to be doing on this one in the meantime is putting some black matte PPF over here, similar to what they have on Porsche. This actually has it already. It's in a weird shape, and I'm not particularly, I don't think it's right. So what I've done is extended a piece to be much bigger to go here, just to hide the stone chips for now, and obviously stops more stone chips, because reality is, to fix this one, it's going to need probably a full side painting, which means both sides, and then we've got the bumper. You're almost into a full car, and I'm not going to go to that extent on this one because it doesn't need it. It's just a fun car, and we're just going to get it tidy as much as we can without the massive expense, but using the facilities and the capabilities that we've actually got here. So we're going to jump on that now, and then we're going to get some more information on this client's car, because I've still got quite a bit to do before we finish. Now the client has asked us to do a couple of extra things on this particular job, which I'm happy to do, and obviously we're not charging for it because they're pretty straightforward, and one of them is just to replace the decals on the caliper, because if we're doing all this PPF, we're then machine polishing the rest and putting a ceramic coat on it and getting this car to be as clean as it possibly can, the calipers are letting themselves down a bit because the M has basically faded quite badly. Now what he's also asked us to do, and again, normally we might charge, it's not a big amount of labour, it's only 20 minutes or so, but as a business you've got to charge, but I am doing these for free. Because I've PPF this, I've basically just removed this anyway to get the best finish on the PPF. And what these do is basically sit behind, and by doing that, it just adds some additional protection to the car itself, and I quite like those. I think they're a nice touch. I do think they're about 100 quid, which is the reason I've not bought them for mine, but if I'm totally honest, I think I'm probably going to get a set of these because they really do look nice. And they literally just pop back in. You get a new set of grommets and pins, and they just basically apply back in, so they're a dead simple fit. And we're just about to do that now before I do anything else on this car. On what we've done on the M2 competition. Now, what this has come in for, well, what it came in for is clearly not what it's had done. So, we have PPF'd the complete front end, and what I mean by that is the bonnet, the bumper, the headlights, and the full wings. However, we've gone a bit more than that. We've ended up wet sanding this door, as you've seen, because we found a couple of lacquer peeled areas on here, which the customer didn't know about when he bought the car. The previous owner apparently never knew anything about that. Yeah, okay, let's move on from that. But anyway, we basically sanded this door down, and I've got it absolutely flawless, but as a precaution, we've put PPF over the top because it does hide and help hide the little defects in the paint, but it also protects it for the future, which is the biggest part of it, because to be fair, well, before we put the film on, you would never have known that had any defects. We've then actually extended it and done the full side skirt, but we've also done the carbon canard at the back, and then we've moved on to the back of the car, and we've done a section on the boot itself, because the customer, quite a big gym guy, and we all know people into the gym, you throw your bag in, you've got your bottle and everything else with you, you're going to scratch your boot. So that's what we've done at the same time. Now, we've also carboned the PPF to the carbon splitter at the front. And that's because it had a bit of a mark here and a slight defect here. And what we've ended up doing is basically doing that in a long piece and actually hiding any defects, but also protecting it against stone chips in the future, because these are prone for it. My M2 that you see here is absolutely pebble dash to hell. It looks shocking. It's not even worth PPFing anymore. So doing this was just an extra precaution. We then have finished off by doing the mirrors. Not only have we done the mirrors, we've done the A-pillar as well. Now, we haven't done any detailing on this car, but what we have done is a single stage machine polish over the rest of the panels. And by doing that, we've then applied the ceramic coating, which I've done with two different versions of Angel Wax to give this a 2 to 3 year protection. Now, the reason why we've machined it is it just gives it the best finish for the ceramic to sit. It's not about detailing, it's not about getting swirls and scratches out, it's just about getting that perfect base layer before we do anything with the ceramic coating. Now, the kind of finishing touches that we've done on this, which is what the clients asked for, is to fit these carbon stone guards, I suppose they're called, and I quite like them. I've actually ordered a set for mine, but we've fitted those after we've done the PPF, so we've actually hidden them between the PPF and the standard mud guard. He's then provided us with new graphics, and that's because the graphics on the calipers have completely died. When I look at mine, they look absolutely shocking, and I'm going to have to order these, and they're probably 3 or 4 quid or something, so they're probably one of the best buys that you can get if you have an M2. Now, this already had a protection piece on the back. I'm not sure if I think it's vinyl, but it's quite tough, so we've kind of left that as it is. We've then gone onto the back and machine polished the lights and the rear carbon diffuser before I've put the ceramic on, and then what you see here, obviously the wheels, and that's because we've taken these off and we've ceramic coated these inside and out, and then I've re-ceramic coated, or I should say they were actually look like they were clean, but I've ceramic coated the calipers after putting the decals on. Now we're going to be fitting the wheels back on, getting the car back down, ceramicing the exterior glass and giving the car an interior valet, which we do free of charge. Only a basic valet, but we do that free of charge just to make sure it is clean when the client picks it up. And that's what we've done on the M2, which is a hell of a lot of work. This car is probably 70% PPF and the rest of it is 100% protection. And if you're interested in having something done on your car, or you want to get your car perfected, or little niggly bits done, even things like the brake calipers and you don't want to do them yourself, just give one of the team a shout or send us a WhatsApp.